Hey, gotta ask you, anybody ever go to the movies anymore? I mean, the movies? With your old buddy Shep Jordan, and I happened to take my family to the movies last Tuesday. You're not gonna believe what happened. I wanna share it with you. This is your Monday morning moment. Let's get to it. Hey, good Monday morning, everybody. I hope you're having a great Monday so far. And you know what? It's going to be a great week. It just is. All right, let's talk about movies. And you know, when I was a kid, I went to the movies all the time. I mean, there wasn't a whole lot else. There was, but not much. And it was really kind of inexpensive. And you know, I really, something about the big screen and smelling that popcorn and all the seats and everything, which is something kind of special about it. These days, it's not an inexpensive date at all, is it? So, we just don't tend to go to the movies much anymore unless something comes along that we just feel like, man, we want to see that on the big screen. And that was the case this past Tuesday. It was really something I wanted to see. It's a new movie called Overcomer. And yeah, it's faith-based. And one of the reasons I wanted to go is because it was faith-based, but also because it was written, produced, directed by these guys, the Kendrick brothers, and they do really good work. Maybe you saw War Room, that's one of their movies, or Facing the Giants, that's another older movie that they've done, but it's always really good, really uplifting. So I thought, let's do this. But I got to tell you, what really surprised me was the message of this movie. And there were a couple, but there was one main message, and it's one that we have been talking about pretty frequently here on Monday Morning Moment. And that is identity. Haven't we talked about that a lot? We've talked about spiritual gifts, finding your purpose in life. And this was really about that. And it was an interesting plot. I'm not going to go into a ton of details, but I do want to throw at you some things that I saw in this movie that made me think, and some of the things we've talked about, just to kind of show you that this is an important topic, finding your identity. So long story short, two guys. One is a high school coach at a Christian school, seemingly has everything going for him, but some things are not turning out the way he planned it. So he's feeling a little bit sorry for himself, and I know that never happens to any of us. And then there's this guy, Thomas, who has pretty much lost everything to addiction. He's dying of diabetes. He's in a hospital room, but he's been redeemed. He's found the Lord, and he's just got that joy, that light shining. I'm not going to get into it, but they come together and they start having conversations. And Thomas, the gentleman who was down and out, finally sees that coach is having issues. And so he finally asks him, and this is the $1 million question. If I asked you who you are, what would your answer be? Well, as you may be able to suspect, Coach goes through a whole list of things. Well, I'm a coach. Thomas says, well, what if they take that away? Well, I'm a teacher. Well, what if that goes away? Well, I'm a father, yada, yada, yada. Well, finally, about, 8 places down on the list, Coach finally says, well, I'm a Christian. And Thomas, who's laying in a hospital bed, kind of chuckles and goes, well, how come that's so far down on your list? And the coach goes, well, what kind of game is this? And then Thomas, it's not a game. You just, you listed your priorities, basically. So this starts a whole conversation back and forth, and Thomas, the guy who's down and out but has found the Lord, comes up with some really pointed questions and observations for Coach. And I'm just going to read a couple of them to you, and I'm just pretend like you're the one sitting in the seat and Thomas is dying in his bed, asking this of you, or saying these things to you. What have you allowed to define you? Yeah, I'm sitting in the movie theater going, holy smokes, yeah, exactly. What have I? And here's the kicker, and this is really a reflection of Matthew 6:21, which we're going to show you in a minute, or say to you in a minute. It's a gold nugget. Thomas says, Coach, something or someone will take first place in your heart. And a little bit later, Thomas says to Coach, your identity will be tied to whatever or whomever you give your heart to. Folks, deep down, we all know that, don't we? And trouble is, we're too busy looking for our identity, in this world. We're too busy looking to this world to try and find our identity. And there's nothing here that really can do that as well as God can do it. So Coach finally kind of gets it. Things start turning out a little bit better. And in the end, here's what Thomas says to Coach. Here's what I would like to say to all of you, because it is truth. When you find your identity in the one who created you, it changes your whole perspective. Well, mic drop. That's really it right there. So, ladies and gentlemen, friends and neighbors, I think it really boils down to this. It would seem somewhat simple. If somebody were to ask you, who are you? Well, you're a child of God. It starts right there with those words. I am a child of God. Now, there's a lot more to it than that, but that's where it starts. All right, I'm going to leave it right there for right now. If you get a chance to go see Overcomer, it's been out for a while, so it may not be showing much anymore, but go see it. It's a little cheesy sometimes, but man, what a strong message. It's really good. And there's some other things in there I think you'll like. But very uplifting, very strong, great music. Some of it I have on my YouTube channel. As you know, Mandis is there. Anyway, I want to leave you with several Gold Nugget Bible verses. These are huge, I think. And I hope you like these nuggets that I give you. I'd like you to use them. I use them every day in my life. That's why I give them to you, because they help me. The first one is Matthew 6:21. It goes back to some of the things that Thomas Hill was saying to Coach. Maybe some of you have heard this one before. It is so true. For where your treasure is, there your heart will be also. Bingo. Very true. Okay, here's another one from Matthew 16, verses 24 through 26. Now, this is Jesus talking to his disciples. Now, get a hold of this. It ain't easy. Whoever wants to be my disciple must deny themselves and take up their crosses and follow me. For whoever wants to save his life will lose it. But whoever loses their life for me will find it. What good will it be for someone to gain the whole world, yet forfeit their soul? Doesn't that sound easy? But in this world, it's so hard. It's so hard. But we're children of God, so we got this. All right, last one. If you're hell-bent on overcoming the world yourself, listen to this from 1 John chapter 5, verse 5. Who is it that overcomes the world? Who is it that overcomes the world? Only the one who believes that Jesus is the Son of God. Yeah. So you see, friends and neighbors, it all comes back to one place. That's the good Lord. And that's who we are. All right, friends and neighbors, if you get a chance to go see Overcomer, I highly recommend it. You may want to take some tissues with you because, it's just one of those types of things. If you can't get a chance to see it, I'm sure it's going to be out DVD or whatever at some point. Go ahead and see it when you can. All right, that's it for this week. As always, I would just like to say, may the Lord of peace himself give you peace at all times and in every way. The Lord be with all of you. Thanks again for your support. Please go ahead and subscribe to my YouTube channel, share, do all that good stuff if this is of value to you. And unless we get another hurricane, I hope to see you guys next Monday morning. Take care.